Hi, this is Marge. Today's guest is a lady who wanted to remain anonymous. Her name is Mwelu, not her real name. Again, I repeat, not her real name. But Mwelu actually reached out to me as well. And this is what she did. She communicated with me severally and spoke to me. And then we decided the way forward was for her to put a recording in place. This is a story. Actually, let me put it this way. Can you imagine? I'm addressing this to the parents right now. Can you imagine you're happily married? Your wife, like I put myself in these shoes, right? So I am happily married with my husband, and we're in Nairobi, raising our beautiful young children, ages 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have both girls and boys. And we are happily married, doing so well, worked so hard to get to where we are in Nairobi, that we are actually able to bring in our siblings to come share our good fortune in Nairobi. We have this heart of wanting to make everybody do better for themselves. And so we give them a place to come and crash. They are family, ain't they? They are family. So we give them a place to come and stay, our home. This home, my brother is sharing with my husband and my children. We are that kind. We are that loving. Little do we know, welcome Grace, that we have invited a monster into our home. I'm ready. This is an 8-minute clip. I didn't listen to the whole clip. We will listen to it together because I couldn't listen to it alone. I think I listened to the first 3 minutes and I was just in tears. Let me keep quiet and we'll listen to this clip together, and then I will analyze this, and anyone else who wants to come in and join me after the video is more than welcome. But this is going to be very short because I'm just doing a playback of a message that was sent to me. But this is based on a very painful, true story of a girl who was raped repeatedly by an uncle, repeatedly by her mother's brother. Okay? This is so painful. Let me just play the clip.
Hi, good evening, Marge and everyone else. I'd love to remain anonymous. I told Marge that because of a few reasons here and there. Now, my story is about this topic that Marge started, I think a weekend ago, but mine is not a sleepover per se. I was molested by my uncle when I was 5. That was my mom's brother. And I remember it to this day. I am over, I won't say my age, but I am way over 30. And I remember it very well, the way he used to do it. And he used to trick me with sweets, telling me not to tell anyone. I have kept silent for all these years. But recently I decided to come out and tell my mother. I told my mother in 2021. It really devastated her. And this thing happened when I was only 5 years old, way back in 1981. It has taken me 40 years down the line to open up to my mother. She was so devastated to a point that she cried. She really cried and asked me for forgiveness. She told me she never knew that happened, and if she knew then, it would be another story. And she also blamed my grandmother about it, because she told me my grandmother is the one who insisted on my uncle coming to live with her, because he was quite a problematic child back in the village. But I told my mother not to blame my grandmother, because I don't think my grandmother would be happy to hear that such a thing happened, though my grandmother is deceased, because my grandmother was one loving grandma, and she was a prayerful woman. And I think my uncle is just one of those people we would say was a bad seed. Sorry to use those words, but he was and still is, because he has never married up to this day. He's a drunkard. And I remember when he used to do it to me, my brother and I were quite young, because the age difference between my brother and I is we are a year apart. He's older than I am. So he used to tell my brother that he used to pretend that he's making a matatu or a bus kinda. He used to take a blanket and cover the sofa. He used to put pillows at the front and the back. Then he just puts a blanket, then tells my brother to pretend that he's driving. Then he would do the act behind my brother, do it to me. And I remember it very, very well, which up to this day, when I remember those horrific scenes, it breaks my heart. I normally see him when I go to the village, but there's nothing much I can say or do, because the damage has already been done. Because I remember that day when I broke the news to my mother, she told me, let me call him to come here and apologize to you. I told her, now, even if he apologizes to me, the damage has already been done. Nothing will change the fact that he did what he did to me. But personally, when we go to the village, which we rarely go, to my grandmother's place, I make sure I am on the lookout. Everywhere my daughters go, or my nephews, I have to ask them, where are you going? Can you go in pairs? Because I don't trust him up to this date. So what I would urge parents is to be on the lookout, because people you think are your family, people you think cannot do anything to your children, those are the most dangerous people. They prey and pounce on our children. So parents, about this sleepover issue, I am one parent who doesn't advocate for it, because I have one daughter who really insists. There's a time she was insisting that she wanted to go to a girl. They were in school together, but they were not in the same class. Apparently my daughter was a class ahead of her, but my instincts just didn't sit well with it, because I don't know their parents, I don't know their background. But it reached a point that the mother to this girl called me once to insist and ask me if my daughter can go to her place. She was even asking me, can she take a matatu, then we can pick her from the bus stop. I told her my daughter doesn't travel by matatu. It is not that I am being proud, but I cannot allow my daughter to travel by her own, by a matatu, just to go for a sleepover, because I really wondered why this parent was so persistent on this issue. Yet we are not friends. I barely know that family. It is just that my daughter and her daughter were good friends in school, and to me that one is a no-no. So what I'd urge parents, we should not allow sleepovers for our young ones, because what I believe, sleepovers should be for children who are over 18. That is something I myself, as a parent, I have put it like a rule in my house. teen, you cannot tell me about going for sleepovers, because to me, you're still a child and you're under my care, and I have to be like your protector. And to me, I tell them I'm a mother hen. The way a mother hen takes care of their chicks, they shield the chicks, the eagle or the hawk. That is how I am, because I know what the world out there is like. So that is where I will stop. And I am just praying for each and every parent to be very cautious, and we should teach our children and tell them how it is. Personally, when I was growing up, my mother never told me like how things are bad out there. They just used to use like coded language on us. But personally, the way I raise my children, I tell them how it is in black and blue. I won't lie to them. I will tell them how it is in black and blue. I will tell them, if you do this, these are the consequences. So that is what I'd urge each and every parent to do. Have a good evening. I love you all, and God bless you.
Wow. God bless you too, Mwelu. God bless you. God bless you. But if you listened to that recording, and I hope it was clear, I hope that recording was clear. This is a story of young Mwelu, 5-year-old Mwelu, who is actually reliving the nightmare of being repeatedly raped by her uncle, the man who shared the roof with them, the mom who had been invited in that home by his own sister, who happens to be Mwelu's mother. I hope you people are listening. It has taken this poor soul over 40 years to speak about this. Over 40 years of having all this bottled in. It was not a one-day ordeal. Not one day, even 5 minutes or 2 seconds is not, I mean, there's no excuse. It shouldn't happen to anyone. It shouldn't happen to any child. It should not happen to any child. Mwelu has lived through this ordeal, and today, besides having told her mother about this in 2021, today she has shared her story in that recording. I didn't listen to the whole of it. Initially, I just listened to the 3 minutes. I've just finished listening to the whole recording with all of you who are watching or who are going to watch this later. This is a nightmare that has been going on for her. She's over 40. It happened to her when she was 5 years old. So can you imagine, this has been something in our society, the rot in our society that has been going on for decades. For decades. And some things just never change. Some things just never change. Because they're still happening during Henry's time at the age of 15. And they're still happening maybe even right now to an innocent child who's been taken somewhere for a sleepover. Or whose uncle has moved in so that he can be put through college by this innocent child's parents. Because they are so kind and they want to share their good fortunes and bless another human being. But that human being that they're bringing in their home is coming to bring rot, coming to destroy their little child. Something that this child has lived with. She's way over 40, she said. Do the math. If in 1985 she was 5 years, in 1981 she was 5 years old, and where we are now, You can tell that's an adult. Married and with children right now. But this young person, to me she's young. This lady, even up to now, it will never end. It's that thing like, it's such a deep cut. It will never heal. It will never heal. Can we prevent such things happening to our children going forward? Is there a way we can protect our children? Is there a way we can teach our children to speak up? Do we have red signs that we can share with our children and tell them this is what you look out for? How does a child predator look like? Are we able to tell who a child predator is? To be honest, no. Heck no. But we can teach our children to scream. We should honestly be able to openly talk to our children and tell them some of these things. These are not things to hide. This is where you tell your child, this part should never be touched by anybody. You have to be honest with your children. Then again, it's not the children's fault. It's not their fault that people are coming, invited a family, coming to sleep over, to stay there, actually, not even sleep over, to live there so that this person can have a shot at a nice life later on in Nairobi. They come and live for free in that home because this uncle was invited by his older sister. And that happens a lot in many families, by the way. And not all uncles are bad. So many of them are very protective, right? But we have those evil ones now, like Mwelu's uncle, who was invited to come and live in their home. And instead of being that nice uncle, like all uncles should be, the protector, the defender, the one who, even when the girl is getting married, he's one of the guys who are negotiating seriously for dowry. And this is their baby. This evil uncle decided to molest this young girl when she was at tender age of 5 years. And because he lived in the same home, in the same homestead, ilikuwa every time, and poor baby could not speak. Ooh, we have to watch for our children. We have to watch for our children. We have to watch out for those kids. We have to be the ones who protect them. And don't get me wrong, we have very good uncles, amazing uncles, and we have genies of uncles. It goes both ways. And then now we have these other ones who are, now this is the worst of uncle I've ever had. From the age of 5, living in the same house, every evening when he wants the feel of a woman, instead of going out there to look for women of his own age, he's sleeping in the same house. In his sister's house, he's sleeping with the sister's 5-year-old child. This is really sad. And it is time that we speak about it as loud as we can. Talk to our children about these things. Don't leave everything to the teachers to tell the children what to expect about sex education and all these things. I know that people at times are really against things like sex education at an early age. But I think as parents, we probably need to start introducing a little bit of, if somebody touches you at this point, tries to touch you, let me know. Then again, child predators are very manipulating. And like we were told by Mwelu, the uncle used to even bring goodies. You know, kids, by the time you register pain, Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a child psychologist, but it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate.